Okay, so this is back to I mean, we've hauled them all now to the facility, and Whit's gonna teach them to go through the facility. So be mindful now to realize that in that process that just happened, they've learned something about pressure, right? Um, and previous to that, they don't associate people with really a super dangerous thing, really. Um, and so then now we get them up there, and Whit's going to teach them to go around, and so they can go through the facility calmly and so forth.
Hmm.
So go ahead, Whit. You got it.
Yeah.
If you
Okay. And so, as Tim was saying, the, I'll pause this for just a minute, but the objective here is to work with these animals and prepare them for processing day, which I think is, I don't know, looks like just a day or two away.
yeah,
And
that was a big
so,
thing
yeah, they were,
because
had to go through a squeeze chute for the first time and be processed, you know.
and that
So
was so Whit came on a Monday, right? That's the
I
day
think I
we
got there late on Sunday, I believe,
right,
and
but
we
we
trailer
didn't
loaded them
Monday.
out on Monday and worked with them
Yeah, and we were
Tuesday, Wednesday, process Thursday.
correct Thursday,
Yeah.
and so that the goal there. I mean, they had booked all of these vets and everything to arrive, so it wasn't like you really had any leeway with this, you know.
No, no, we
Yeah,
didn't have the luxury of time. So,
yeah, I didn't have just we'll call the
yeah,
vet when we're ready kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah. But conventionally, instead of waiting till D-Day, processing day, to run them through the squeeze chute, we said, no, let's work with these animals and prepare them to be worked through the squeeze chute. So that would mean doing some groundwork with them and even doing a dry run through the squeeze chute. And so this is one of the early encounters with these animals in here. And basically what I'm going to work on is developing some trust with those animals, continuing teaching them to take pressure and letting them know that there's a release from that pressure, teaching them that I can control their movement, that I'm in charge. I'm basically the boss. Like here, using a technique called the 45, we pressure in and out at a 45-degree angle when the animals are in a corner like that, and it will drive them out. And so again, I'm teaching them that there's a release from this pressure that they experience, that they can trust me not to apply any more pressure on them than they can comfortably take, teaching them that I can control their movement. Okay, I'm essentially the boss. And so I put them in that corner there, and they were set up for a technique called the reverse parallel. I move parallel to them in the opposite direction to which they're facing, and they'll move in the opposite direction. So I so I take them down to the far end of the pen again, and this time I'm going to take them out of that corner in a different way. I'm going to take it outside column of that band and drive them around the stalled out inside to get them out of that corner, and take them down to the far end again. And at that point, I felt that they were ready to take through a gate and in across the alleyway and into
Okay.
another couple of pens. Because one thing I knew, these animals would have to get really good at
Hey,
going from
Bubba.
pen to pen, in and out of the alleyway, and at a walk, and to where they were actually sortable, because we were only going to want to take one, two, at most three animals at a time down to the bud box and through the squeeze chute. So here I'm just getting them used to coming by me, going forward parallel with them. That is parallel position in the same direction, which tends to slow them down and keep them at a walk. And they're going across the alleyway and into that much smaller corner pen, and from there I'm going to drive them into that middle pen that we see. This is all under the label of what we call working with these animals.
So just
Teaching them what they need to know.
correct. And as an aside, Patricia had asked about food, right? And every pen had hay in it or something, right? That
Yes.
they went to
Air water.
in case they wanted to eat or something.
So here, this is only, I think, maybe the first day we worked with them up there, Tim. I'm not sure, but it was early on. We only had 2 days to work with them, teach them everything we felt they needed to know to be successfully and processed and without injury.
This was probably Tuesday before.
I bet it is Tuesday, and they were just hauled up there on Monday. So I went into that pen there and went down what we call the inside arc, applied a little pressure so that they would come around me. And if you think of it, that's really, what is that? It's a big bud box. So you go in from the front, down the side, let them come around you, and they go back where they came from. And so they're starting to get comfortable with me moving them around, trusting me enough to where they'll move at a walk. So, because where I really want to get them before processing is that they will walk by me from pen to pen, and so that I'll be able to do splits, do cuts. Okay?
And splits and cuts, as we witnessed in the other bud box down below, is a difficult thing with their wild, and they all want to go.
Yeah. Yeah, and we didn't have the luxury of time at that, because we were going to be chasing daylight, for one thing, loading those critters out and at the trap, and we had a little more time, actually quite a bit more time here to work with these animals so that they would slow down, even in close quarters to them, and that the majority of them would actually walk by you. Okay. In this video, we're continuing the training process, working with these animals and preparing them for processing day. And you can see we've spilled them back and forth several times between the large pen and this middle smaller pen, and they're getting really used to it, and they're calm, they're quiet. We even have to apply quite a bit of pressure to drive them out of there this time, whereas first time in they were in a hurry to get back out of there. So again, the whole idea is to get these animals to where they will trust me, where I can move them anywhere in that facility at a walk, where they will be comfortable coming past me, single file ideally, so that I can do cuts, even lone animals to take down to the bud box on processing day. And so we're seeing real progress in these animals. An important point to make here is that all this started with the bait trapping and getting used to human presence, learning to trust humans. So this would not have been near as easy had not they been handled like that. So very easy there, just to turn them around and to drive them right back through the gate, across the alley, and back into that middle pen. Then in later exercises, I don't think they're on video, but we started taking them up the alleyway. First small groups and then large groups, and took them through different gates, and we ended up doing a dry run through the squeeze chute as well.